these days of quarantines and lockdowns, for many of us, nature has been a huge consolation. But have we been as good a friend to the planet as it's been to us? Well, scientists tell us we're at a tipping point, that more than ever the world needs bold and ambitious climate leadership. That was one of the key themes at the Finance in Common Summit, where the EIB participated alongside fellow public development banks, policymakers, project developers and financial regulators.
It's a great pleasure to be with you here today. I can only praise the idea that is behind this conference and behind the collaboration between the multilateral development institutions and the national and regional promotional institutions and development institutions. In these times, alignment and cooperation must be the name of the game. And this is something that needs to be further strengthened. We all are committed, I think, to the Sustainable Development Goals. We know that in reaching the Sustainable Development Goals, we can compete only when it comes to our ambitions, but not when it comes to competing on the ground. We need to collaborate, to cooperate on the ground. And that's something where we are on a good track now, and I'm very optimistic on that. And we, as you indicated, we had our meeting yesterday on our board on the climate bank roadmap. It was a surprising success. It was ratified in the first reading, and it shows an enormous ambition for the climate activities of the bank. And we can achieve these only in cooperation with the institutions represented here and many others. Not least philanthropy, and last but by no means least, the private sector, because you can forget about the Sustainable Development Goals if you don't give a stronger role to the private sector in achieving it.
Well, thank you so much, and we will hear more about that decision that was taken in the last 24 hours, because it's very, very remarkable and really sets the bar for everyone.
Yes, well, the news that the EIB's Climate Bank roadmap had been approved was warmly welcomed at the Finance in Common Summit, also as a standard for others to follow. Climate leadership and Paris alignment were the main themes of the special session organised by the EIB at this event, where we gathered partners from across the globe to share their vision and concrete actions for the way ahead.
We need the public institutions because they have the means, they have the resources, and they have the willingness to help.
Our role is to serve the Paris Agreement. Our role is to support the Paris Agreement in the goal of keeping the average global temperature at the rise well below 2 degrees Celsius.
Over 80% of the installed capacity of electricity in Kenya is actually renewable.
Costa Rica can be a decarbonization laboratory for the world to reinforce what has been learned to date and to progress in areas where others see innovative examples.
Our climate strategy incorporates climate into our core functions, manages our direct impact, and provides leadership across the financial system.
The European Union is not only shifting its thinking, it is also acting on it. And together with the European Investment Bank and with our member states, we are the world's biggest contributor of climate finance for developing countries.
Aligning international financial flows with the objectives of the Paris Agreement is more important than ever.
I strongly believe that as IDFC members, we have a very massive role to play.
We still have many challenges ahead. Nevertheless, we are on the right trajectory.
We believe that by working together, we can have the greatest impact.
Alongside climate change, minds at this summit were also focused firmly on the global pandemic. This first-time summit of public development banks also brought together leaders from every corner of political and financial life. All agree that the pandemic is exacting a terrible price, but recovery could bring a rethink on our priorities and the need for new effective partnerships.
As you know, the pandemic is a challenge like no other. It's been devastating for public health and the global economy, and in both cases it has fallen hardest on the most vulnerable. Tackling this crisis requires strong collaboration among public and private sector leaders, philanthropists, and civil society.
The lesson we draw from the COVID crisis is the need for enhanced cooperation and concerted actions to address global challenges, pandemic, climate change, and enduring inequalities.
Our priority for the post-COVID world is to support and accelerate a green and digital transition.
To build back a better, stronger and more equal world for our future generations.
Well, on the sidelines of the Finance in Common Summit, the EIB announced a number of important partnerships and financing agreements on the theme of gender equality alongside the Turkish Development Bank and 23 other public development banks. The EIB signed the Gender Equality Declaration, and there were new partnerships to enhance gender equality for Asia and Africa in the sector of clean energy. And as part of the Team Europe effort, a financing agreement was signed to support businesses in Brazil impacted by COVID-19. The EIB also joined the call for action towards a water finance coalition alongside the Agence Française de Développement, the Development Bank of Latin America, and the World Bank. The summit culminated with an important message from President Macron hosting the summit, a reminder of the importance of public development banks and of the EIB itself. And of course, there was the joint declaration.
We, public development banks, have a concrete roadmap to respond to the crisis while serving the Sustainable Development Goals. We hereby commit collectively to shift our strategies, investment patterns, activities and operating modalities accordingly. For greater impact, we also commit to join forces and form a global coalition of all public development banks around the world. We will work together as a community among ourselves and as a system with all stakeholders.
Je veux enfin souligner le rôle important des banques publiques de développement dans la nouvelle étape de la construction de l'Union européenne. Je sais que la BEI, la BIRD, la Banque de développement du Conseil de l'Europe et les banques publiques de différents États d'Europe ont participé très activement à vos travaux. Elles sont engagées avec force pour soutenir le Green New Deal européen et dans la coopération internationale, en particulier avec l'Afrique. Avec nos partenaires européens, nous allons transformer, renforcer la BEI pour en faire une véritable banque européenne du climat, renforcer la force de frappe des banques européennes de développement en structurant un système d'action plus lisible, plus articulé, plus coordonné. Voilà, vous l'avez compris, nos banques publiques proposent aujourd'hui de contribuer à engager une nouvelle étape du développement de nos sociétés, faite de respect, de coopération internationale, d'engagement de chacun de nos États, le local, le national, le régional aussi, du productif au social. Nos banques nous proposent au fond de relier, de réconcilier comme jamais les échelles d'espace, de temps et la cohérence d'une action pour aider au développement durable.